So today, using my 2015 Yukon Denali, we're going to get into a lot of these ratings of what is safe and how to find it, where to look for it, and what it really means. So inside the door jamb, a lot of these newer cars, you're going to find the tire and loading information, which will tell you payload, how much people and cargo you can carry, as well as a gross vehicle weight rating and weight ratings per front and rear axle. And then in the actual owner's manual itself, you'll be able to find the GVWR, or the gross combined weight rating. So that's going to be the total amount for the truck and the trailer combined. So the first thing we'll look at here is the tire and loading information. And so where I've highlighted in green, it says the combined weight of occupants and cargo should never exceed 1,500 pounds. That's known as the payload. Now, this number is pretty accurate, but we're going to go ahead and take the Yukon over to the CAT scales, and I'm going to show you how this all really works. So basically, we got the weight of the Yukon with a full tank of fuel, with only my daughter in it with her car seat, as 5880. So now in the door jamb, as we look where it says the gross vehicle weight rating, the GVWR, it's 7,300 pounds. That is the most weight that can be on this vehicle, whether it's with people inside of it, whether it's a trailer also weighing down the tow hitch, cargo, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so let's take that 7,300 pounds and subtract the 5,880 pounds that it actually weighs, and we're left with 1,420 pounds for payload. And so that's very close. It was saying 1,500 pounds, and so adding the car seat and the child and everything, it's pretty close. Now remember, everything else that you now add to the vehicle will reduce that payload. So where we had 1,420 pounds, now we're adding a 20-pound backpack. We're adding a 30-pound cooler with all of its drinks and everything inside. So everything that you add to the car will now be taken away from that payload. So you also want to keep in mind all the upgrades you've done on the vehicle. So we installed this aftermarket front bumper, the worn winch, the rear bumper with the tire carrier, the bigger rear wheel. All of that adds weight to the vehicle, and it reduces your payload. And the biggest thing that will take away from payload is the tongue weight. So when you put a trailer on the actual tow hitch of the vehicle, that counts towards the payloads. Now, roughly speaking, when a trailer is properly distributed, you're going to get about 10% of the trailer weight is going to be what's pushing down on the actual ball hitch or on the tongue. Okay, so for example, simple math, if you had a 10,000 pound trailer, then when you put it on your truck, now you have 1,000 pounds weighing down that tow hitch area, and that is going to have to be taken out of your payload. So that gross vehicle weight counts of you using whatever is weighing the vehicle down, even the tow hitch. And something that's going to be very easy to help with this is if you can get one of these weight-safe tow hitches that has the built-in scale for your tongue weight. That way you're not second-guessing if you're too heavily loaded inside the truck or if you need to move things from the trailer and move things around. So that's a very helpful thing to have. And I have one of these coming real soon, so we'll be doing a full review on it, and I'll show you how much drop you need and the size and capacities and everything like that. So stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel for that, and I'll also put a link in the description where you can purchase one. Next, for most SUVs and trucks, they're going to have a 2-inch by 2-inch receiver for you to go buy the hitch for it. So make sure you're not doing this as a bumper pull. It'll rip it right off. And this one, for example, shows that the towing package itself is rated at a maximum of 10,000 pounds, and so that 10% would be about 1,000 pounds on the tongue. Now, along these lines, there's a few things to look at. Number one is how much trailer drop you have. So look at this ball in comparison to the trailer. You want it to be level. So as you can see, this doesn't have much of a drop on it. Depending on the trailer that you're towing, you may need more drop or maybe not enough drop. So something else to consider, I'm getting a new hitch for some towing that I'm doing. This is a traditional one. It has the 2-inch ball, which is very common, the 2-inch ball, but that's where a lot of the weight rating is going to be, is the size of the ball. Also, look at the hitch itself. This one, for example, has a max load of 5,000 pounds. Also, tongue weight of only 500 pounds. So it might do the trick for some trailers, but I'm going to get a better one that's a lot stronger, just because you want to err on the side of caution. So remember, the maximum towing capacity that it says on the hitch, that doesn't mean that's what you can tow. So when you look up the vehicle information, for example, my Yukon Denali can tow 8,500 pounds is what they ask for. Now watch this though. We had 1,400 pounds of our payload left, right? So if we take 850 pounds off of that, meaning the 8,500 pound trailer, we're now only left with 550 pounds that we can use for our payload. So a few adults, call it 400 pounds, you only have about 150 pounds for luggage and all other stuff. So at that point, you might want to consider moving some things from the vehicle into the trailer, and we'll get into trailer weights a little bit later. So next we're going to look at this enclosed car trailer. And so something you can do is move some weight from the vehicle to the trailer, but even the trailer is going to have its maximum gross weights as well. And so this one, for example, can hold a total of 7,000 pounds, less the weight of the trailer, which was 3,200 pounds. So that gives you 3,800 pounds worth of a vehicle that you can put onto it. Now, I've towed a 4,000 pound car in the car carrier, and I'll tell you, it didn't even feel like it was behind the truck. The truck does a great job doing that. So something next I want to bring up, though, is once you have a load that's going to be 75% of the weight of the vehicle, so in this case, about 4,400 pounds itself, that's when you want a trailer brake controller. And I have a full video talking about this, so I'll put a link to that in the video description so you can see how it works. But once you're around 75% of the weight of your vehicle, that's when you'll need one. And all of this information is so readily available. If you just go to Google and type in the year and the make of your truck or SUV, it's most likely they have the operator manual right here, PDF. You can pull it up whenever you'd like. That's where a lot of this information came from. Towing section on this one example was section 9-7. And so in this, it was showing us what we needed to know, that the entire vehicle combined with the trailer could not be over 14,000 pounds. So let's take a quick look here with the Yukon being 5,880 pounds. And so let's go ahead and add to that the total weight of that trailer. Let's say it was 7,000 pounds when you add the trailer and a car that's inside it. So that total is 12,880. And we know that our combined gross weight can be a maximum of 14,000 pounds. So we take that and we subtract our 12,880. We still have 1,120 pounds that we can deal with. And so let's say that we had a few passengers and adults and everything like that. So we're going to go ahead and take off 600 pounds for people who are riding with you. You still have about 520 pounds left. Another 200 pounds for gear and equipment. So you still have some wiggle room here. Just keep in mind you might have to move things from one truck to another in order to distribute the weight properly so that you don't have too much tongue weight. So please keep this in mind. If you're going out and looking for an RV or whatnot, they're going to say, oh, you can tow 8,500 pounds. Here's an 8,500 pound trailer. But as you see in this article, here's the top 30 things you want to add to your RV. This is all weight. This is all going to reduce your towing capacity as you weigh the trailer down. So just keep in mind, you want to give yourself plenty of room with all these supplies to not go over your gross weight. Now, luckily for me, the Yukon Denali is pretty basic. It's trimmed out very similar. You got some running boards and things that are electric on some models, and so the weight differs very slightly. But when you get into especially pickup trucks, you can have all kinds of different options with the engine, two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive. All those things will affect the payload and the maximum gross vehicle weight, everything. So you want to look up your vehicle specifically. And one thing I wanted to bring up is, my thought was, okay, I want something that's going to tow really well. So here, I'm going to go out and get my 6.2 liter V8 Denali, and it's going to pull better than a regular Suburban. Now, going back to what we said in the beginning with a space shuttle, yes, my truck with the extra 50, 60 horsepower and torque is going to pull a little bit better than a regular 5.3 liter Tahoe. But what I want to show you here is if you look at the tow rating from the manufacturer, you are now 100 pounds worse off with the Yukon Denali because of the, all of the leather trim and heated seats and the bigger engine, everything that starts to weigh it down a little bit will affect how much it can legally tow, and not how much it can pull. And it definitely will pull a lot better with more power. But that's just something to keep in mind. So when you see these TV commercials that show the new F-150 and it's going to pull 12,000 pounds, keep in mind that's probably a regular cab, two-wheel drive F-150 that they're using, getting the truck as light as it can in order to tow as much as it can for the rating. Now, getting back to the axle ratings, you have the GVWR for gross axle weight rating for the front and for the rear. And the only real way you're going to get that is if you go to the CAT scale. They'll have you pull on, so only your front axles are over it. They get your measurement. You pull forward, get the rears, and you can do that with the trailer as well. But you want to make sure that you don't have all of your weight over one axle, because being overweight on the axles is very dangerous. If you think about everything that's involved with the wheel bearings, the suspension, all those components that are supporting the vehicle, you do not want to overweigh those and damage them. But you can see here on the ticket there is drive and trailer axle places for those ratings. Also, tires are very, very important, and I have a video that I'll put in the video description that talks about the sidewall meanings and where you can find the date of how old the tires are, their weight capacity, everything like that. So please watch that one too, and just go online and Google it. You'll probably be able to find a lot of good information just like this. GMC has their towing guide out there. A lot of the companies have the same thing. They really want you to be safe.